Back on Earth, O'Neill tells Hammond what happened, who brings Carter in to discuss what to do. This is bad. I mean, the government could just deny it, but that's not going to help, especially in the X-Files era when this aired. I mean, the reporter himself is played by a recurring character in the X-Files, for crying out loud. Conspiracy theories were everywhere at this time. I wish I could say it's an improvement today, but frankly, I think I preferred it when people said, I believe the government hides its deals with aliens, rather than, I believe the government hides that the earth is flat. My only disappointment is that none of you will be able to see the number of downvotes I'm going to get over that remark. Now my disappointment is living in a world where someone will downvote me for that remark. Though at least I can content myself in knowing it's a world that's round! So Hammond thinks the best thing to do is find out what Zellick knows, and O'Neill is the best choice for that, so he waits out front for the guy to show up. Well, he does, and he knows pretty much everything. About SG-1, about the attempted attack by Apophis, even the attempts to bring back useful technology to offset their ginormous budget. O'Neill tries to convince the guy that he knows nothing, really, but Zellick won't be persuaded. Well, that's a problem. Hammond listed all the likely consequences if this got out. Stuff that would cripple the program when they've been pulled into a galaxy-spanning war. It'd be nice if we didn't have people Monday morning quarterbacking them on that one. But maybe we should draw the line at, say, running reporters down with a car. He gets plowed and the car accelerates right out of there. Hit and run. Zellick dies while O'Neill helplessly watches. Yep. I gotta say, watching a citizen get mowed down to cover up government secrets, that's the kind of thing that makes it easy for you to drop behind enemy lines to risk your life for democracy. Teal'c reveals the bad news. Well, it's the even worse news. It's hurrah. The bad guy has showed up, and it's not Apophis. Add in that any minute Shara is going to drop that kid and the Gould will take over and start stirring up shit, and we probably should just leave, Teal'c says. Well, Daniel will not leave his wife in the middle of labor because there's a time to be logical and there's a time to not act like a dickhead. You just can't hand your wife a mirror and some barbecue tongs and wish her the best. So Teal'c goes to try and buy some time, knocking out a Jaffa that was trying to make Pops give up his daughter's location. There are times when making all your uniforms the same with all covering masks a bad idea. This is one of them. Well, back on Earth...
I have cancer, Sam.
He's in the Air Force. He probably has experience dropping bombs. By the way, I have to say, I Have Cancer, Sam, worst sequel to a Dr. Seuss book ever, although it did teach us the importance of not eating green eggs and ham. Well, Jacob brings this up now because the ceremony was canceled on account of accidentally silencing a snitch. O'Neill is going to need to make a statement to the cops, of course, and with that delay in the ceremony, the president's kind of a busy guy. So Jacob presses again for NASA that he wants to see this before he dies, but Carter can't do it. Your job is pretty awesome if NASA is a step down. Back in the cave, Shara and Daniel share the final moments before the big job's done as, well, touchingly as one can when someone is shoving something the size of an American football through a very small opening. But then the Gould comes back. But Teal'c is returned wearing the armor of the dead Jaffa, so that Amonet doesn't interfere when he demands the child, thinking this is just one of countless Jaffa who will rip him from her cold dead hands if she tries to stop him. So after knocking her out, they give the little squirt to Pops to take care of. Back at the SGC, Hammond gives out the medals in place of the president, but then in private he makes something clear to O'Neill.
It was an accident. Yes, sir.
These things happen all the time. I mean, I understand that a journalist in Moscow had some dirt on Putin. He got accidentally hit by a car, and then a truck, and then another truck, and then a steamroller. On a similar subject, we check back in with the Big H as Teal'c brings Daniel out pretending he's a prisoner. Well, naturally, that Gould can't resist pulling a come and kneel before Zod before him, but the Stargate activates before there's a chance to zap him, and Teal'c takes out the other three just in time for Carter and O'Neill to arrive, wondering what the hell, but naturally the bad guy has a shield to stop them. Oh, that's bad. You can't get a screen repair service for that one. Geek Squad will file that under replace. So he wrings himself out of there just in time for Apophis to show up through the Stargate. So everyone is forced to then hide. Well, Mommy Dearest has come to meet with Apophis, but even though she spots Daniel, she says nothing to him, either to protect the child or to protect him. Well, either way, they're free to go once Apophis and his crew bounce. And as for us, we can revisit Shara next season. See you then, sweetie! I'm calling this one a very important. While it is a major story point, it's not so vital to the storyline that you have to watch it, but it does lay the groundwork for other episodes. I give the story itself a fine. Aside of the significance of Shara being back for the first time, it just doesn't rise up to the way a lot of other SG-1 episodes do. The script seems unsure what it wants to do with Daniel, which results in a notable absence of chemistry on screen. Ironically, the two performers gelled so well off camera that the pregnancy was real. This was her and Michael Shank's child. As for the Washington plot, the stuff with Zelig, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure now that I've said it a whole bunch of times. They really need to just enunciate that better. Anyway, it was intriguing, but it withered on the vine. It was dangled there, but then shut down, and the point forgotten for a long, long time. Season 8 to be exact, and even then, that was just speculation that the NID were the ones behind it. It was like they had this interesting idea, but no idea what to do with it, so they tossed in this episode as filler and squandered it. Well, together this story is okay, but primarily it's about setting up the future rather than being something great on its own.